Hello, hello. Welcome back to the She's Next Level podcast. It's your girl Darsh, and today, honey, today is the day. So today's episode is really juicy. I'm super excited to share this collaboration that I did with my girl Courtney. And this conversation was inspired when we were doing like an intuitive read with each other. And we were just talking about spirituality. And I honestly had no plan on how the conversation was going to go, what we were going to talk about. But it's just really funny because we ended up talking about a lot of juicy things. I walked away just feeling more empowered and more in love and in tune with myself. So, some of the things that we talked about in our conversation around sex, around religion, around what it actually means to be spiritual, especially in this modern day and age, there's just so much bullshit and nuance out there in the world around spirituality. And I just feel like this was very much needed for the world. And especially like now, more than ever, like everyone's just waking up more and more every day. And there's just so much misinformation on the internet around spirituality. So Courtney and I are really going to break it down with you and, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But I guarantee this is 100% source truth information, meaning AKA God, whoever you want to call it, the universe. But this is information that we have learned and we have also validated in our own experiences in our life. I mean, we've been together, we've been in this journey for a long time. And especially like speaking for me personally, I have been in and out and all around. And I can attest to my own experience how I was when I first started in my journey of like self growth, self development, spirituality, and how I am now, and really help you break free from those limiting ideas on the internet. Because if there's one thing that we're not doing here is limiting ourselves, we are always leveling up and elevating. So anyways, let's get into this episode because it's really juicy and I hope that you're able to take away something from it. And if you do, then definitely let me know in the DMs on Instagram what you took away, what resonated. And
Hey guys, so I am so excited to have my friend Courtney here. She's also a subconscious, I don't even know what to call it nowadays, like the work that we do, because it's just like a little bit of everything. But I obviously trained my intuition, and she's in the training program that I'm in, and we've been practicing with each other for a while now with like giving reads for each other. And this topic was inspired by a conversation that we were having last time we practiced, and I don't even remember how it came up, but it was around like spirituality and like friendships. Honestly, I was just really fascinated by the fact and how you're able to like magnetize people to you, and like in a way, and it's not because you're pretty, because you are, but like your energy. And it's like, that's something that I've, kind of struggled with for a while. It's like I can meet people easily, but like having to manage and like hold relationships and like infuse myself in communities is just kind of like a self thing too. But I really admire how you do that. And then like I don't remember how the conversation led to spirituality, but I really wanted to do this with you because I feel like you and I have very similar mindsets around spirituality and like what it actually looks like in the world, and then how we see it, because it's just so different from like everything that we've learned with our mentor, and like from the journey that we've had from like our self-image to training our intuition and like all this stuff. But I want to know, before we like get into that, when was your spiritual awakening, and how has that journey been for you thus far up until now? Just like a little bit of a tidbit.
Sure, yeah, that's a roller coaster. We all know the quote unquote spiritual journey is a freaking roller coaster. But yeah, my awakening probably happened, it was about 4 years ago on my 27th birthday, like typical Saturn return, you know.
Uh-huh.
And long story short, I was living a completely different life. I was like living in Vegas. I was a party girl. I was travel nursing, and I was just kind of going down the wrong path, I think. And it was necessary because I'm the type of person that has to like fuck around and find out with everything. But I think my soul came knocking on the door and was like, what are you doing? Like, you are so meant to be helping people and doing something so much bigger than what you're doing. So, hence, the spiritual journey began like a few days later, I like met my first life coach. She was like a IV client of mine. And then I started my business with no experience. It was like a life coaching business back then. And it just was like, I kept going for a few years. I was like just reading the Joe Dispenza books and,
Oh
getting into
my
like
God.
self-development. I feel like Joe Dispenza is like the gateway drug to
Like,
spirituality.
yep,
And
yep.
then like it got deeper. I was like sitting in ayahuasca ceremonies in the jungle and like puking my brains out in a bucket and like it's just crazy how I began it like crystal girly all the way up until my entire freaking life falling apart a year and a half ago and then like rebuilding it from ground up. So that's been the journey for me. It has been such a roller coaster, but here we are.
I gotta say, I cannot imagine you as a crystal girl at all because the way I see spirituality now, like, I haven't really been into crystals like that. And like, I have dived into spirituality with like, Abraham Hicks was actually my first introduction
Mm,
to spirituality and then his stuff as well. But and I just like the fact that she brings in a little bit like relatable woo-woo is what I call it, because
mhm,
it's like actual examples. It's not just like the brain and the science and all of that. I remember like for me, I was like that mean bitch where I was just like, "Ugh, I'm too good. Like now I know like what life is about, and like I can't be like freaking twerking like that anymore, or like I can't be cursing. Like I do curse, and even that is like it's okay. Like it's
mhm,
not like it doesn't make you a bad person or anything. And I was like super judgy as well because people weren't thinking the way that I was thinking. And that was a really big one for me. You wouldn't be able to tell that I was spiritual, but internally, I was just like also feeling a sense of weirdness. Like, I do feel like the world displays spirituality in such a weird manner. It's weird to be spiritual because you see people like drumming and like doing all these weird dances or like light language
wearing their
stuff and like
hats.
wearing all these like crazy things, looking like witches and like all these, and it's just like that's not really it, especially now in the point where I'm at in my journey. Like that's not what it looks like. When did you have that aha moment for you? Like do you remember a special moment in time where you were like, so, like this is not what I think it is, when it comes to being spiritual, what that means for you?
Mm, oh my God. Yeah. Like, and again, it literally took me like my entire life falling apart for me to realize this. But like, I think my perception of what there was like so much time for a couple of years where I just like thought I had to be a certain way. Like, I just like you, like, oh my God, I can't twerk anymore. Like, I can't enjoy myself at a music festival. I can't, curse like a Detroit truck driver like I always do. Like, I have to like show up a certain way. And like, I was on my spiritual high horse, like really deeply, just like judging myself in the way that I was, and then like projecting that judgment onto others. Right. And I fully admit that. Like, I had my spiritual high horse days. I still like am very conscious of watching myself on that. But it was like, I was building my business, my coaching business from a place that was not super authentic to me. And like I had a relationship that was beautiful, but it wasn't in alignment. And just like so many things that I thought like my life needed to like look a certain way, or I had to make a certain amount of money, or like portray myself a certain way. And then my higher self was like, nah, bitch. And my entire life fell apart a year and a half ago. And that was the moment that I realized I was like, I'm putting my sense of self worth and my validation into what I think that I should be. And when I was stripped of everything, like I literally had almost no money left, like I had to walk away from my business, like go back to a full-time nursing job for a little while. And like my relationship ended and I lost my brother. There's just like a lot of stuff happening at one time. Like I had to find my sense of self-worth and what truly like being quote unquote spiritual and true alignment felt like to me from that place of like nothing. It felt like the void, but it was actually like a portal into deeper alignment, into like me recovering all the pieces of myself that I had exiled before. And then I realized I was like, you know what? What the hell? Like, I think you said this, Darsh, and I don't want to take this quote away from you, but spirituality is truly the art of being yourself.
Amen.
And
That needs to be in the Bible.
it does. Bible, new version, let's go.
The source truth.
That is the source truth. It really is. Like
It
all of
is.
yourself, all the parts, all encompassing, the parts that twerk, the parts that cuss, the part that sometimes drinks a margarita, the part that sometimes is crying on the bathroom floor, the part that celebrates life, the part that does everything.
Oh my
Everything.
God. Speaking of fucking alcohol, like I have to share the biggest spiritual bullshit, at least for me on my end of like, and this was a big one for me. And I know it's a very touchy subject as well, but I really want people to expand their minds around it because yes, I live a healthy lifestyle. So like, of course, I don't really drink in general, only socially whenever I feel like it now. Because before I was actually restricting myself, which I learned anytime you're restricting yourself, you are not being spiritual because you're not allowing yourself to be yourself. But with
Mm.
alcohol, I remember going out to dinner with a friend and we catched up and everything and I was like letting her know like what I'm up to nowadays and I was just like super excited to share all these like things that I'm learning around like spirituality, energy work, like the universal laws that I'm learning about, like I mean half the things that you don't even hear online that we're learning about. She wanted to hang out another day and then she was just like, "Hey, like I wanted to go and go out for a drink and like hang out, night out, but like, are you still allowed to drink now that you're spiritual?" And I was like, wait, I was like, hold up, girl. I was like, just because I'm spiritual, it doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to drink or I'm not allowed to do like the human things that aren't deemed to be like good for you. Alcohol to some extent is not the best for you, but like it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing that forever. It's a personal choice. But I just thought
Mm-hmm.
that that was so interesting because I do know for a fact that there's a lot of programming out there and a lot of shitty weird advice around like alcohol and spirituality, and it's like yes I get it, but it's like I'm not going to also like stop living my life, and I do have the tools to like obviously protect myself and do what I need to do energetically to stay in alignment to the best of my ability, of
Mm-hmm.
course, if I do decide to do that. But I just thought it was really funny. And
Oh,
because I hit her up the other day and I was just like, yeah, girl, let's go out to Napa. Like, let's go wine tasting. And then she's
yeah.
like, what happened? And I'm like, nothing happened. Nothing ever happened.
Dude, I love this subject. I mean, we could talk forever on this, but like I used to do the same shit. Like I would like shame myself and blah blah blah. But I'm just like, honestly, here's my like what I've come to learn, especially on the intuitive journey. It's like I enjoy going out and occasionally having a glass of wine or two or enjoying a craft cocktail. Like we're fucking human. We're supposed to do this stuff. Like you don't have to if you don't want to. I can go. I've gone like a year without drinking. There's some times where I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like I need to do that. And when I'm doing intuitive reads and working on my business, I tend to like avoid it around those times so I could be, a clearer channel. But at the end of the day, it's like if I'm sitting on a beach in Mexico, like a mocktail is just not going to hit the same. And in my opinion, and what I know to be, sort of the deeper truth, like there's people in the spiritual world that will shame you for like having a drink or two here and there, yet they're like taking like 2 grams of mushrooms in a night. And like, how is my drink or two that's not even like making me intoxicated at all like more safe than you like blasting your energy open with like mushrooms? And I'm not shaming people who do plant medicines or anything like that because I've been on that journey too. Like just let people live. Like if I want to go have a drink, it's fine. Like
Yeah, also like another thing I wanted to add on to that too is like the judgment, and the judgment specifically around like, at least I know for me, was around like people that just didn't do the inner work. Oh my God, that was a big one for me. People that just were not into the inner work or doing the inner work and doing things that I know were like not the best for you, but like
Mhm.
not honoring their journey and not like seeing them just as like equal. And when I say equal, it's equal in a way where you're not better than them and they're not better than
Mhm.
you. Like you are special and so are they. About like, oh, I'm doing all this inner work and I'm like so up here, so much better. And like
Mhm.
you should know these things, like kind of pushing that, like, cause like, oh, like religions do this often and they push that spirituality. They try to. They say that they don't, but they really try to push that onto people and like judge them if they're not being a certain way based on the rules of religion. And to me, like unconditional love, me, that's what source is, aka God, whatever you want to call it. And so if there is only unconditional love and that's all that there is, then why are there rules? Maybe there shouldn't be any rules. Because then that means that setting rules on something means that it's wrong. Now, get it on a human level. There are certain, like, killing a person is not like, it's not, but God still loves that person just as much as he loves you. And so that's like what I also see in the spirituality. Like, matrix is like the right and the wrong and like the comparison and the judgment if you're not in this work. Because
Yeah.
I don't think everyone's meant to be in this work, doing this work. Maybe they can be doing it in a way that they're like, it's different and like helping people feel good and like raising the consciousness of the planet. But it's like, it doesn't have to be spirituality, reprogramming, like all these things that we're into. It's just going to be different for everybody. And that was a big thing for me to learn because like I was judging my family so hard. I mean, being such a black sheep and being so different from like the way they think and like other people that are not into this work. And like I felt like I couldn't relate with other people too. That was a big one of like, I don't think like you, so I can't relate with you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, 100%. I feel like everybody who like, for one, the spiritual journey doesn't like, it's whatever you want it to be, and it's like different for everybody. And for two, I feel like when you get deep into like the inner work and, learning about yourself and unraveling layers of yourself and like, in a sense, like ascending and expanding your consciousness, like everybody goes through the phase of like being on the spiritual high horse and like judging people, and I can't hang out with those people or relate to that people in my family. Like, I've done all of that too. I so went through that journey. I'm so gonna call myself out. And now, like, ever since like again, like a year and a half of my life like fell apart, and then like I started to just like grow from a more authentic place and love myself more unconditionally, right? Because unconditional love is just truly seeing the good and bad in everything and loving it all the same. Because everything has positive and negative, good and bad. That's the universal law of polarity, balance. And so when I started to like live my life from that place, like before I would like always want to hang out with like the spiritual conscious community, and I would like put these guys on a pedestal and like only see like the good. And then I started to see like some of the stuff that I was like, oh my God, this is like giving me the ick a little bit. And I would just like go back to like old aspects of my life and like hang out with my friends and my family. And I would like appreciate them so much more. I'm like, I just need to be near you guys. Like, you guys are like more grounded, more normal. Like, I need to get away from like all of this spiritual consciousness like stuff for a minute and just like live all like appreciate all aspects of my life.
It reminds me of the thing that you said the other day that really hit me was like a true master that's fully in their power, that's fully confident and embodied is able to be amongst the chaos, amongst all the contrast without fucking being phased by it. And that really resonated with me because I was like, yeah, like if I can stand in the fire and just be super still and super present and just see the beauty in all of it, then that makes me super powerful. Like that's what makes me actually spiritual, is because I'm able to see it all for what it is and not put labels on things and not like even on myself more than that. The self-image stuff, it's like how you see yourself is how other people see you. It's not what you do to others, people are going to do to you. And I feel like a lot of people are still like stuck in that paradigm for the most part of like that give and take versus like it's your world and everyone's living in it. It's always your world and that's how I see it. Allowing yourself to not fuck around but fuck around. Like that's what I always say.
You're the one who's creating the world. The world is not creating you. So, no matter where you go, you can like go to the like quote unquote lowest frequency places. Like I went to like Las Vegas or something, and there's a lot of like riffraff happening there. But when I went there, I was like, you know what? No, I bring the vibe. Like I make the experience wherever I go. I create my life wherever I go. Like I could choose to believe that things are bad and like you know, this situation or going to this place or doing this is going to like fuck me up. But it's like, no, like you have the power. Like you, the person with the highest frequency, like always wins in a sense. Like
Yeah.
you like maintaining your frequency and like maintaining your beliefs and your sense of self-love and authenticity, that is so fucking powerful. It's potent. Like people feel that. And that's literally what like shape shifts the reality around you. And it creates any situation that you want to create.
Kind of like the feeling of like, I'm so happy here that I don't need any of this. Like I'm so good and chill and like neutral that I don't really like everything's just like bonus energy cherry on top, which also like actually makes me think about like, and I am like so guilty of this. I've actually realized and had awareness of this like a few days ago of like wanting to keep doing the inner work and like keep going at it and like not knowing when to pump the brakes sometimes, give yourself the grace and feeling like you've done enough because of that. Not about like improving and like growing and elevating because you're always doing that and that's part of the work, but it's like feeling like you need to get this like you need to keep going to keep up with it in a way. Like it becomes this thing of like it's like never ending, but it's never coming from a place of like desire. It's coming from a place of like, oh, okay, I need to heal this thing now. Or I need to
Or
heal
I'm
this
not
thing
enough.
now because I don't feel that.
Yeah. Or for me, like, oh my God, I'm guilty. Guilty. Raise my
We're
hand,
just
guilty of
calling
this.
ourselves out in this whole
Yeah, I am.
episode.
Literally, like with the amount of programs and coaches and healers and everything I've done over the last 4 years, I could like have a freaking PhD right now. Like I kid you
Literally.
not. And I'm just like, I really like, I know a lot of it comes from desire because I really am the type of person that loves to like learn and expand on things. That's just me. But also, like, I have to catch myself in those times when I'm like, I'm doing this from a place of like, I feel like I'm still not enough. Like, I feel like I have to learn more to be enough to like be worthy, to be skilled enough to be whatever. And it's like, I've really recently had to retrain my brain to be like, well, if I never did a single freaking thing ever again, like accomplished anything, took another program, made any more money, like, how would I still be worthy just because I'm me? Like, and
Tricky one,
that's,
man. That's a tricky one. Because
that's the trick.
we're not programmed to think that. I mean, even that, I'm especially being an ambitious woman and woman that has big dreams and wants to live her best life. I mean, that will trip people up. I know it did for me. I'm just still like, what?
Still tripping me up. I'm like, oh,
It must be
okay.
my Aries moon where I'm just like always like 0 to 100 real quick.
I don't know what in my astrological chart makes me like that. It's probably just some childhood trauma.
I can add that to mine too. So that with that and that.
But hey, there's good and bad to everything. And I like that you said like you're ambitious, like you know, you're a go-getter, right? Like at least these qualities make us ambitious and like have a great work ethic and everything like that. I just need to
Yeah.
know when to pump the brakes. Like that's my problem. Like why is it so hard for me to just relax? Like and
Yeah.
not
Well, also like spirituality is such a big subject that go into so many different categories of like your relationship with money, which is like a big one, your relationship with yourself, but also your relationship with others, like masculine and feminine energies. There's such a big, just like a mind fuck around like your masculine energy and your feminine energy and what that should look like. And just what you just said of like me being ambitious and all of that, like that's me. Like that's never going to be taken away from me, that part of me. But it doesn't mean that I don't have like, I'm not feminine or I'm not like in
mm,
touch with it or like even around a masculine female like feminine dynamic where I'm not able to move and shift around it. It's about being able to balance the both, and it's not about like being like ambitious woman just being one specific way. um I mean, I can go even on a rabbit hole about like relationships with the whole masculine and feminine energies and dynamic and what people talk about. But one thing that I feel like, and we've learned so far with our mentor, is that, and I want people to know, is because I was in shock when I heard it. It's like we're literally meant to be here for ourselves, fending for ourselves,
mm,
and fending for ourselves, indirectly helping other people while we're fending for.
mm,
That's what it feels like. because even in relationships and what I've learned is like relationships are just there to help you grow, and that's the purpose of relationships. And like nobody has a piece of your heart but your own. You have your own heart. It's with you at all times. It's never separated. And so I feel like the more I learn about spirituality, and even in particular with relationships, it's like I'm always responsible for me. I always got to prioritize myself. Like that's always going to be the foundation of like spirituality, because that's self-love. We all came down here to obviously help each other, but there's no one more that you need to help but yourself. And I think
Yeah.
that one is like a big one in the spiritual world of like the helping people versus helping yourself first. And that's the way it's actually meant to go and meant to be. And not feeling bad about that, because we're made to
Yeah.
feel bad about that.
Amen. That was like really the biggest thing that broke my brain. And like, as we know, there's a spiritual matrix that you like have to get out of too. There's a regular matrix and then there's a spiritual matrix. But it's like, no, the true source aligned way of living is putting yourself first. And it's like, that is a big part of expanding your consciousness as a soul that goes through many different lifetimes. That's what I believe anyway. And it's like, that is one of the first lessons we have to learn to be able to expand our consciousness is how to put ourselves first, especially for people like in the spiritual world or the conscious community or anybody who's in a position of like really wanting to help people and like is wanting to raise the frequency of the planet. Like you have to put yourself first, like you have to pour into your own cup. And that was like the biggest lesson I learned when my whole freaking world fell apart like a year and a half ago, to fall back together of course. But it was like I wasn't putting myself first. I was putting everybody else's needs or doing what I thought I should do and blah blah blah. And it was like when everything fell apart, I had no choice but to put myself first. And that was like the biggest lesson I learned. I was like, I got to fill up my cup. And then when the cup is overflowing, you're actually able to give so much to people. You're able to like show up and so much better for people. And yeah, it's still a lesson I'm learning.
More. Like whenever I'm overflowing, I'm like giving a lot more, and I
Uh-huh.
actually feel like abundant in giving. Like I don't feel like, oh, I gave too much, or like I need something. I'm in that energy of like just
Yes.
completeness and wholeness. And giving from that place also creates the results I want too, right? Because like you're just the way that you're doing something is the way that it's going to manifest. So it's like a win-win, you know?
Again, still a lesson that I am mastering. As we know, like the last month I decided
Really?
to like pick up shifts at work, and I was like, yeah, tons of money, like they were offering me tons of money, and then like that was a decision that was not putting myself first because I was like, I'm spending all my time at work, and then it's like taking me away from being able to like do things on my days off and work out, and I'm building my business too, so like all this stuff is happening. And then like I'm like having a mental breakdown by the end of a couple of weeks of doing this. And I'm like, oh my God, have I learned this lesson yet? Like I have
That's
to put
so
myself
funny.
first.
That's so funny. Because the only thing I've ever done in my businesses that I've had is obviously for safety, security, and the money, but also like not putting myself first, because I put the business first and then I put that
Mhm.
into my everything. And then now like making the decision to like put myself first and like literally like zero out my income, and like, it's scary, but it honestly feels so liberating, because like now everything I do, I'm putting myself first. It's trickling into like everything I do. So, and I know I'm like conscious of it to not go in the deep end of it too, because I can do that of just being like not doing anything and just being like Miss Lazy. And we love that. But I can't be lazy forever. Like that's boring too, It's like you gotta
Yeah.
have that balance. So I feel like it's funny because I'm on the other end of that.
We're balancing each
Been doing
other
that for
out.
so long.
Masculine, like I'm too heavily in my masculine energy right now. It's how I know how to survive. But like you were reading my higher self, you were communicating with my higher self the other day, and she's like, bitch, you like need to like build your business from more of
No.
different place. So I'm learning my lessons now, but I love seeing this journey for you because like you're such an inspiration. And that's definitely like I'm about to be where you are very soon, walking away and just saying,
Yay.
screw it, like it's time for me to take the leap of faith and not be between two worlds anymore and just go fully into the soul pull. And that's the place I want to do it from, like putting myself first, not like scarcity and like feeling like I have to like do all these things and like chase after things to make results happen. Again,
Yeah.
it goes back to just being the frequency of what you want.
For me, the biggest lesson, and besides self-love, that has really been something that a lot of people, even in this work, struggle with, and like people in general struggle with, and something that I struggle with my entire life, was just self-trust, like that inner freaking trust. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I'm doing this, yes, but I have moments in my day where I'm like, time is ticking, girl, and you haven't really, like, what are you gonna do? Like you haven't really fully unraveled what your soul pull, soul purpose looks like. Yes, I'm podcasting, but like, how am I monetizing it eventually? What am I gonna be helping people with, offering all these things? And it's like, just trust the journey. And I'm literally taking it day by day and checking in with my higher self and just seeing like, oh, hey, what can we do today that is going to move the needle? What can we do today that's just going to add up each and every day? But self-trust has been the biggest thing for me. And I think a lot of people, when it comes to spirituality, I feel like self-trust is the foundation, man. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people in the industry or in spirituality, and even people that are not, like, that just don't really fully trust themselves and like
Mm-hmm.
trust everything that they receive, from
Mm-hmm.
their self. And then they just get lost in the sauce and distracted, which was me, and
Me
what
too.
everyone else is doing, what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is saying. And also, like,
Yeah.
there is no truth. There
There's
is no
truth.
ultimate
There's
truth.
a little bit of truth in everything, right? Like
There is a little bit of truth in everything, but ultimately it's still the truth that you decided to be,
yeah,
because we all create our reality, right? So
yeah.
like sometimes we're literally taking things so personal or like so literal what people are saying, that we're forgetting to like discern what actually resonates and
Uh-huh.
empowers you versus like what doesn't. And I feel like this is not being talked about in the spiritual world of like, obviously not putting people on a pedestal, but also like seeing the information and actually having the awareness to discern what's like for you and what empowers you and supports you on your purpose and your journey versus what doesn't. Because like for me, what would empower me may not be the same for you, because you have a different path, you have different like ways of being than I do. But it doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
that, like, that's like, there is no true or wrong thing. Like there is none of that. It's
Yeah.
everything that we get to create and make up. So I'm now more than ever doing that, and it doesn't mean that person's wrong or I'm right. And I think if people understood this, they would literally have so much grace and they would actually learn so much more than
Mm-hmm.
like trying to be like, oh, this is right, this is wrong. Like having this whole debate in the TikTok comments, like
I
it be
know.
going down in there.
I mean, like I said, it just goes back, like, again, part of what it means to be like spiritual is truly like trusting yourself and trusting what's right for yourself. And like, you're right, like checking in. There's so, like, we live in an era of like so much information overload. Like, we have devices in our hands constantly where like there's just an overload of information. So, why? It makes it even like more of a challenge to like truly trust yourself these days, because it's like information coming at you from all freaking directions. So you really, really do have to be discerning. And like even these people that you know, I've been guilty of this, like putting certain leaders and people on pedestals and being like, oh my God, if they're like doing it this way, I have to do it this way, when it's like truly not even the right way for me. And like I'm shaming myself if I'm not doing things a certain way. It's like, no, being spiritual, like quote unquote spiritual, and being on your own conscious spiritual journey is about learning to trust yourself, discern what's right for yourself, and take the path that your higher self has intended for you and trusting that. And believe
Yeah.
me, like I'm in that journey. I like it's going to be never ending. And I'm a Sagittarius rising. So like
Oh,
that's
you
literally
are?
my life destiny, is to like blaze the trail and take my own path. And then I have like the
Yes.
Aquarius moon that's very unique. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this
Oh
is
my God, you're double air, girl. I can totally like
we're in
air sign over
fire.
here. air with fire, that is just like a crazy combo, especially like we air signs in general have to be very cautious of like the data that we're taking in because
Yeah.
we're just like so connected with people that we have to really decipher like what's truly our ideas and what's ours versus what's other people's. And thank God, honestly, for energy work to help me with this because I would sometimes feel like the ideas now I can use intuition to see like which one's mine and what isn't my idea, but it would feel like other people's idea would feel so much like mine and like this is the way or like this is true, and then it's like then I would learn the hard way of like, oh yeah, no, that wasn't it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get it. I'm right there with you. And honestly, this has probably been the biggest bane of my existence yet. Like the thing I'm here to master the most is like truly discerning like my path and where, you know, where I need to go. And one of my soul gifts is leadership. So in order to do that, like I have to trust myself. I have to
Yes.
have my own ideas. And like, I think, we talked about this in like a session we were doing together, but again, like you can take little pieces from everybody or everything and find out like what really matches with you, I guess, and like what you want to take on. But yeah, you just have to be so discerning on like things that, beliefs and ways of being and everything that isn't for you, because that can really like deter you off your path. So that's why intuition is so beautiful.
I'm not even gonna lie, like I didn't even know I could like use it. I mean, I all use it, obviously, like whether we are aware of it or not. It's like that little voice or like that little nudge, that guidance, and like, but I just never knew what it felt like or what it looked like until I started training it. And I was like, wow, this has been here. This has been with me my entire life, even as like a child. It was always with me, but I just never knew what it looked like, what it was. And it's not about like someone being so gifted in it or not. It's just about you just practicing it, using it, developing a relationship with your higher self through intuition. And
Mm-hmm.
we all have it. That's all in essence our link, our connection to our spiritual selves, right? So it's just really funny because like I I'm out here fortune telling without even like I never really thought that I would ever be doing that. And I'm like, sometimes I feel like, am I making stuff up in my head? But then I'm like, no, I'm not, because like what they're telling me is accurate and like what I'm
Yeah.
telling them is accurate. So I'm like, oh, okay. There's not a day in my life where I'm not using intuition. Like even when I'm
Oh yeah.
shit, I'm using intuition. So
Hmm.
like
All the freaking time. I'm like, what the heck?
a little unhinged to talk about this, but I want to bring up sex because I feel like
Mm.
it's so taboo.
I love it. Bring it up. Let's go. One of my favorite
Bring out the
topics.
bad bitch. Just because like especially I feel like religion and spirituality and sex impact the way that people see spirituality. There's so many opinions on sex, honestly, but I do feel like for me growing up, it was like you cannot have sex until you get married, and like sex is not a good thing. It's like this thing that's like shameful that we don't talk about. But honestly, from a spiritual perspective, I feel like sex is our creative expression. It's like our way of expressing love in a creative way, but then also like being in a human body, like enjoying the thing that we're in and like the vessel that we're in, and also creation, right? If you want to have kids, like that's also a way that we create.
Like, I know my soul chose to be in the human experience to experience sex. So let's go.
That is so Lisa of you.
But no, I've honestly like been on both ends of the spectrum when it comes to sex. So like I grew up Catholic. My parents didn't really like enforce the whole sex before marriage thing, but I almost married into an incredibly Catholic family. Like the my like his mom, my ex-fiance's mom, got me like a chastity book when we were engaged. Like it was crazy. Like she didn't like I was like, why, like, she didn't know that, like, clearly we were having sexual relations, like, but it's like, why are you so concerned about what I'm doing? So it was like, really, like, it was shamed so much in that relationship. But then, like, after that ended, like, I went on to the other end of the spectrum where I was like, I'm going to experience everything. And, like, I entered some years that were a little more promiscuous, and I'll admit that. And that's fine. Like, I'm glad I went through all of that. And now the way I think of it is like, sex is such a beautiful thing. Like we shouldn't shame, I don't feel like it should be shamed at all. However, just knowing what I know about energy and all of that, like I feel more like I have a lot of discretion about who I let in because it is such a fucking powerful energy. I mean, it's creation energy. Like I think of the energy of an orgasm as like the biggest like manifestation, creation, opening up energy there is. And so I do think it's a very sacred thing that, like no matter how you want to do it or who you want to do it with, that's your choice. Like, no one should be shamed about that. But like for me personally, I'm like very, very, I have a lot of discretion about who I allow into that space for me, especially because of what I do with intuition and everything and the types of energies that can get stuck on you and all that.
Mhm.
But I'm very open about it. Like I've dabbled in the BDSM world, I've dabbled in, all kinds of weird shit.
Yeah, nice.
And
I
like,
love that. I love that for you. I think like experience has always been my greatest teacher. Like you can know everything, but if you haven't fully experienced it and gone through it, it's just like it's just knowledge. What happened to me is like basically I've been celibate for like over 4 years or now. Like it's been a while. I can't even count like
gosh,
how long
girl.
it's been. I know. And no one
Wow.
would think that. Like no one would like they would see me, they'll look at me and they'll be like, "Oh, she." But people are always like assuming based on what they see. And it's not because like whenever I would tell someone that's spiritual or like anybody in general, they would assume that it's like, "Oh, because I'm spiritual now," or like I'm holding myself back because of that. And it's like, no, like that's not the reason why. Like for me, I'm also like very intentional with like who
Mhm.
I'm gonna engage with in that way. And like also like I'm very like high maintenance. Like the looks matter to me, the vibe matters to me. Like you
Same.
gotta have it all. And I just haven't like attracted someone that is like that. But if I did, of course, like I would just go just like that at it, and it wouldn't make me any different. Like it wouldn't
Mhm.
make me not as spiritual anymore because I haven't been. It's not because I was like, I feel like a lot of people that are celibate in general, they repress themselves. They think that it's like I've gone too far in the deep end of like having too
Mhm.
much sex, or now I'm super spiritual now and I'm trying to redeem myself, where it's like I can't do that anymore. And it's like, no, like it's just about balance. The ultimate law of universal law of balance that I think everyone needs to know, it's like that's what it is with sex too. It's just like it's not a good thing or it's not a bad thing. It's just having that balance. Now, I've definitely been on the deep end with the celibacy. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm just like, hello, but it's okay. Like, it's okay.
4 years, girl. I went 10 months once and I was
It's
like,
been a
okay.
while, I know, but I'm also like, I don't think about it as much. I'm also the type of person where I don't really like need it to be like creative or be happy. For me, like amazing, I go buck wild when I'm having sexual experiences with anybody, or like even
Mhm.
like orally sexual, but it's not also something that I feel like I need to feel creative or feel like good about myself, or like to feel feminine or whatever give this feeling of sex gives you that glow.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, like on that topic, like honestly, I will say I fucking love sex. I'm not gonna lie, but I do notice like I'm in a season of celibacy myself just because like I'm focused on other things. But like when I am like in, having sexual relations with someone or like, using my sexual energy a lot in that way, it takes a lot of my energy. Like I'm like distracted and like not, and I don't think it'll be like that with every person, but I think like the era of my life I'm in now, I'm just like, I think sexual energy can go both ways. Like I just, it's going to get real here, but it's like I just focus my sexual energy on me and my own self pleasure practices. And then I
You got the best
channel,
toys, huh?
yeah. And then I channel the rest of that like creative flow energy into what I'm creating in my business or just like my own little creative projects that I do for pleasure. And it's like that feels really good for me right now. I used to be the person that was like balls to the walls. Oh my God, I love sex. I like need it all the time. But I feel like I'm in a season of my life where I'm just like, no, I'm cool without it. Like my self pleasure practices and me keeping my energy in my own field is so much better. So I
Yeah.
respect the celibacy, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Like maybe I'll meet somebody tomorrow and then bam, like it's it. That's it.
Yeah,
Who knows? Like
it'll be great.
I'm not like restricting myself in any way, but I do know that in the spirituality world, like sex is also like a very, and especially in religion too, it's
Yeah.
very it's very like right or wrong. And besides, like even you, like if you had mentioned to somebody that's spiritual that you've done that, they would probably judge you for that, right? Like someone that's not really aware, but it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, like no, like that's just an experience that you've had. It doesn't, the experiences that you've had does not define you. It's just an experience. So it doesn't
Mhm.
make you like less spiritual. It actually makes you more spiritual because you're allowing yourself to experience things. You're allowing yourself to like be curious about life and be curious about yourself and like actually live life versus like just restricting yourself or like feeling like this is right, this is wrong when it's both. It's not like one or the either.
And this is a full circle moment, right? Because like that's what spirituality is about. It's about experiencing what you want to experience and being who you are. And like I said, I'm a fuck around and find out type of person.
Yeah.
I'm not the type of
That's
person
what I
that can
like
just
most
like
about you.
I can't just like watch people like do things like I'm like no, I have to do that. Like I've lived like fucking like 30 different lives in my one lifetime, like being so many different versions of myself. And like now I'm hitting a point where like I'm going to continue to be different versions of myself, but I'm like integrating all the different versions of myself because of all the experiences I've had. I'm like none of those were shameful. Like even though there were periods of my life where I'm like I would shame myself for doing certain things or whatever. But I'm like, no, it's just life. Like, this is just what I wanted to do. It's what I chose to do. And there's good and bad and everything. And I took a lot of good out of a lot of experiences and I saw things that I didn't like out of certain experiences or ways I didn't want to be. But I would have never learned had I not gone through, right? Like, I'd be sitting here like, what if, like I'm not
Yeah.
the what if girl. I'm the dive right in and do shit girl.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me too is like, me showing up online in this way for me was like, I had this like belief and I had this like way of thinking where it's like showing up and talking about spirituality is weird because not a lot of people are like talking about energy work and like your soul and like contracts and all these things. It's not like normalized. It's like always like kind of portrayed as weird or like the taboo things. But it's like it's been the most truth that I've ever heard in my life. And it's been the most life-changing things that I've learned and implemented in my life where it's like it's not this thing outside of me or separate from me or that thing. It's actually me. It's kind of like the playbook to life, literally. And some people are either aware of it or some people are not. Like, especially someone that looks like me, wouldn't really normally think that I would be talking about like this kind of stuff, but it's like it doesn't have to be that. Doesn't have to look one way. And I think it's good that it doesn't because then we're able to help the people that we're meant to help and connect with that in every way, like people
Yeah.
that relate with you might not relate with me and vice versa. Like not self-love in the way that people think it is or unconditional self-love. It's like the spiritual, like deep source truth self-love that people are going to be like triggered by because that's not the truth that they've been hearing this whole time. And they're going to get mad, but they're going to love me later.
You know what? When you're triggering people, bless up. Like, I'm so glad, like, I've reached a point in my life now where I'm like, fuck yeah, let me trigger people. Like, I don't care because that means I'm being authentic. When I used to like tiptoe around or be afraid to say things, I'm like, well, then I just wanted people to like me, but were they really liking the real me? No, like,
Yeah.
I'm going to say what's truthful to me. And it's funny, like, your journey, you're like, I feel weird speaking about all this stuff. And I'm like, sometimes I feel like I talk about it too much and like then I'll start like overthinking. I'm like, should I just be more normal?
Oh, I've been there too. I've been there too because I can go again 0 to 100 real quick. And I do it like offline with my friends, my close friends, and then sometimes I'm like, but Darsh, there's more to you than just that. And I think that's another like big thing in the spiritual industry. Like I would love for people to start showing more of themselves
Mhm.
you know, like versus just talking about spirituality, just showing that side of them, because there's a lot more to you than just that. There's a lot more things that you're interested in that you do that make you who you are.
Yes. And that's what like draws people towards you. Like, is it like very quickly? Like, I remember I used to have like a separate business account for like, my business and spirituality and stuff. And I like battled with that for days because I had like a coach that told me to do that. But I'm like, I feel like I'm showing up as two different people. And like what I really want to do in my life is like connect people to who they really are and make them comfortable with being themselves, but I'm not actually being that way. So now like I shut that account down, and now like how I show up online and everything, it's like I try my best to do a little bit of everything. Like I show myself hiking up a mountain, one wheeling, like going to Burning Man, and then like, sharing my journey and the tidbits that I'm learning and intuition. And people are probably like, what the hell? This bitch does all like I can't keep up. Who is she? But I'm like, I'm just all of these things. I want people to see like everything that I am, not just like this spiritual person or this person that does this or that. Like you can just be fucking everything. Like you can be multidimensional, all encompassing. And that's the type of person that I am, like even though I'm up in the ethers doing intuition, like I'm also very grounded and down to earth. And like you can catch me twerking, at a club. I don't go to clubs too much anymore, but I'll be twerking somewhere, and
Yeah.
like doing
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And like when, I'm working at the hospital saving lives one day, and the next day I'm talking to people's souls and climbing up a mountain, you never know. Like,
Yeah, I think the
but that's
point is
what
like
it's about.
knowing that you have access to all these options, but you're always making a choice to which options that you want to
Mm-hmm.
work with and like enjoy. And I think like that's what really fully allowing yourself to be yourself is. I'm at a point now, I'm not gonna lie, where I've been through like so many businesses that I've had, I've changed so many identities of myself that I've been. And I had this thing of like, oh wow, people are not gonna take me seriously because I'm not even like I'm not even creating anything for myself. I've had that for so long, but it's like now I'm finally like building a personal brand, like building, like I am literally the thing now. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that I'm doing, it's me now. So that's been next level for me. I'm at a point now where in my spiritual journey, where like truly, truly, if I was to like say one sentence that describes spirituality, is actually caring, but not caring. Because the moment you start caring, you lose pieces of yourself. You start listening to other people when you're literally meant to trust yourself more than you trust other people. You're meant to listen to yourself more than you listen to other people, and you're meant to care about yourself more than you actually care about other people. And it sounds like weird and crazy and like effed up in a way, but it's like it's all comes back to you. It's your world and everyone's living in it.
I used to have a friend that would say that to me. Courtney, it's just your world and everyone's living in it. I'm
Really?
like,
I thought I was always the only one saying that, but like good to know.
I say that all the time. I'm like, I think that all the time. So that's why I'm like, wow, you're saying this. I'm
That's the
like,
main
yep.
character energy. You know what I mean? Like every girl wants to be that and become that, but like through spirituality, you're actually able to understand it and embody it and become it. Cause like you finally understand yourself, you understand how life actually works. And at the end of the day, it's like all this manifesting talk, all this spirituality talk, all of that, it comes down to like reprogramming your brain. It none of it means anything about you besides the art of reprogramming your brain to allow your human self to like merge with your spirit self to be who you are. It takes different levels of awareness to understand that. I remember the complex things that I was learning in the community that we're a part of, and like in spirituality and certain things people would say for the first time, and I'm like, I get that. I don't get that, but I get that. It's that resonance. um that's just what it is, and everyone's just on a different journey to understanding that, and maybe it's not this lifetime, maybe it'll be the next one. But I made a vow to myself that like if I'm here right now and I have access to this information, like I'm gonna go balls to the wall with it, because like I want to make it the best, and I want to learn as many lessons as I need to not repeat that shit in the next.
Amen to that. I'm like sick of this. And to be honest, like it is a very complex subject, but at the end of the day, I think people really overcomplicate spirituality and everything. Like if
Yes.
we're really like summarizing this, like at the end of the day, if someone told me 10 years ago, like, just love yourself, just see how unique you are and how powerful that is, and like all the attributes that your soul chose for you, just for you to be able to fulfill this purpose. And your part, the biggest part of your purpose is for you to see yourself and love yourself and honor yourself and be yourself. I would be able to like save so much time on so much bullshit. Like, I don't even know. Like,
Yeah.
that's
And there's
truly
so
like what it
nuances
is.
to that too, right?
Yeah.
Even just to something as simple as that, there's so many nuances to it as
Mm,
well. We all know it, how to love
mhm,
ourselves and like how to, we all know that, but are we actually like doing that? And that's where the reprogramming comes in. That's where like all that, the tools that we use comes in. But it's like, at the end of the day, like if you really want to, you will. And
mhm,
I do feel like people play small, like at all levels, they're playing small. You know, they're blocking themselves and they know that they are. They know that they're
mhm,
holding themselves back. And if you truly loved yourself the way that you say you do, you wouldn't hold yourself back. You would put yourself first in
mhm.
line and you would just do it.
Why is it like the hardest thing ever to just like put yourself
And it is
first,
the
love
hardest thing.
yourself? I'm like, literally, it should be the easiest thing, and it's like the key to everything
It
in
is the
life. But like,
hardest
why is it so
thing.
hard? Like, we've been programmed so like so hardcore for so many lifetimes, and even this lifetime, it's just like undoing all of that. So yeah, it does get complex, but at the end of the day, it's fucking like simple. Like, love yourself, put yourself first, be yourself. Like,
Well, here's
that's
the
it.
other thing about fear. Like, here's the other thing about fear, because like fear is what holds people back, and there'll always be a level of fear because like our human brain, and that's how it works. But I feel like if we actually like put ourselves into the fear and like actually see how the fear would manifest, it wouldn't be as bad, and it'll actually help you like move forward. Because like for me, my biggest fear is being homeless, like literally having zero money,
Living in a
homeless, like whatever. I mean, I would say that that's probably a lot of people's fear, but that was definitely my fear, right? And the way that I was able to like neutralize that and like actually let go of that fear was to see like, okay, let's go there. Like if I was to be homeless, then what would I do? How would I like how would I operate? And then my mind started coming up with all these genius ideas into like how I would build a life up for myself and how I would to take care of myself, I would go to the gym. I'll get like the Planet Fitness membership to make sure I take a shower so I'm clean. And then I'll go to
right.
the library and use the computer, and then I'd create a YouTube channel as a homeless person, and I would vlog myself and my journey and use like and I just started coming up with all these things. And it sounds funny, but I was just like, wow, like being homeless wouldn't be so bad. Or maybe a sugar daddy would come my way.
You're kind of like, I want to be homeless. This sounds actually pretty nice.
But that really, like, for example, that really helped me with my money beliefs and like the fears that I have that I felt like were holding me back from like the things I wanted to do in life and like allowing myself to again be myself fully. It's just like us being able to like see those things and like
Yeah,
really see the big picture versus
neutralize.
just seeing like the thing that we're only seeing versus the whole thing.
Yeah, no, I love it. I don't mean to laugh at you. I just think that it's like that's the kind of shit we would do. Cause I'm like in my shower sometimes like thinking about that. I'm like, my biggest fear is losing everything. What would I do if I just couldn't pay my bills or like live it? I'd just be homeless. And I'd be like, maybe I'd be happy because I wouldn't be attached to all these things. I'm
Exactly. Oh
like,
my God. Big one there. And it's like, that's like next level, like seeing your value and like seeing, like
yeah.
to be able, and that would be like mastery over there, like with that, and like being able to fully tap into your higher self and your intuition,
Mhm.
use it to like navigate and like such an inspiring story that would be like so many things.
Yeah. Now we're like making ourselves want to like lose everything.
I'm like, you know what? Life would probably be a lot easier if I actually was homeless.
I mean, like it would have its difficulties, but man, there would be some things that would be
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah.
I mean, it's a very natural human thing to like want safety and security and a roof over your head. But I love that both you and I have gotten to the point where we've actually like thought of the whole scenario of losing everything.
I mean, I
Like that's
thought about dying.
manifesting.
I've even thought about dying, like dying, there's a big fear for everybody in dying. But like now, again, knowing what I know in spirituality and like what it actually means and who you actually are, like not the human, but who you actually are, it wouldn't be so bad. Although I'll say that I do love this life, so I'm not ready to go yet.
Yeah.
And I want to maximize my life here. But it wouldn't be so bad either because I'm aware of like what life is actually about. Because regardless of how happy they portray themselves to be, deep down, I know if you are not doing the thing that you were called down here to do, and I've been through this, it'll be irking at you. Like you are the one going to bed at night feeling that, and nobody knows.
Amen. You know what? I have a theory, like this is just my own theory, but I feel like people are so afraid of death because our souls actually love to be in the human experience so much. And it's like our souls are always beckoning us towards our potential. And like we want to experience everything this life has to offer. So we get afraid of death, not because like we're actually afraid of it, but it's because our souls just don't want to like miss out on things in life. They want to relish this whole experience and be here as long as possible. So I that's my own theory, and I know like my soul definitely has that for sure because I love just being here and experiencing everything. And I know the subtle like theoretical death of not doing what you're here to do and accessing your full potential. Like I just can't let that happen to me.
Yeah. I mean, I know I used to get triggered when I would have people tell me the things that I know that I should be doing and I wasn't doing it. I used to get so triggered off of that because I know like deep down, I'm like getting in my own way of the shit that I know I need to release and let go of and like also like do. People in general in the world don't understand it, but it's so essential for you to actually live your best life. And I know deep down everybody wants to. I know deep down everybody feels that void, especially if they're not in like doing what they're here to do, not
Mhm.
100% fully. And so that's what I want to like really help people with is just like unscrewing their mind and like filtering out all the things that they believe to be true or they were misinformed with. There's a lot of misinformation going around and actually like doing what they want to do, like giving themselves permission to do what the F they want to do.
Amen. And like also just on that note, like we are just so privileged, like you, I, and so many of us like to be in this position, especially with all the world events going on, like that we actually get to do this. And like, so I think it's like, there is so much like tragedy in the world and everything, but like if you're in a position to be able to access your full potential, if it's like easier for you, do it because that's doing the rest of the world a service, right? Because, it's like your frequency is upgrading the frequency of the planet. And when you're helping other people, it's like that continues to spread over generation over generation over generation. So it's like, all of us here, like in this position of life, like if we're not experiencing tragedy and all this stuff that's crazy that's going on the planet right now, which we don't have to get
Yeah.
into, but it's just like, we're so fucking privileged. Like, be everything you're meant to be. Like, you were given literally like this life. Like, do it. Be
Yeah.
yourself. Like, love yourself. Like, just do everything that you're meant to do. Like, that's just my thought on
I
that.
could feel the love, girl.
I know. I'm passionate about it.
I know. Oh my God. This was such an amazing conversation, Courtney. Like, thank you so much for just showing up and sharing your wisdom and your energy and just like being so open to talk about this in such a like chill way. I don't think there's anyone that really connects with me about this topic in the way that you do. It makes spirituality feel normal and cool and like just as normal as social media is. Like, I'm just really grateful and happy that you were able to do this with me. And I just want people to know that like the being spiritual is the art of being you and just to be yourself, give yourself permission to be fully yourself. Is there anything else that you want to add on? Let's say you were to die tomorrow, knock on wood, no, but let's just say, what would be the message that you'd want to leave to the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's a summary of everything we talked about. Just like love you, love all the parts of you, and like start by loving the parts that you shame the most, and know that those parts that you feel are bad are also good. They have good too. And like go for it. If you feel the soul pull, if you feel drawn to something, like go for it. Don't waste your time. Start working towards it. And just be like, you don't have to be a certain thing. You don't have to portray yourself a certain way. Just follow what's true to you. Honestly, that is like the true spiritual journey in my perspective. And it's something I'm working to master myself, but it's truly been the most beautiful journey. And I just want to say thank you, Darsh. Like, you are a homie. I'm so glad that like you and I have connected. I love our readings together. Darsh knows my higher self probably better than I even do at this
Very
point.
well.
And we just like talk and have so much fun. And I feel like we've had a lot of like similar experiences in life. So this has been like the best. And, you know, who knows? Maybe we'll get on in the future and do this again.
I love that. I love that. I feel like my message to the world would be that you don't have to be perfect because you already are. You
Hmm.
just have to be you, and you just
Hmm.
have to fuck around a little and keep fucking around to get to where you want to be because it's all perfect.
Fuck around and find out. That's what I do.
It just with a sprinkle of fun and everything.
The worst that could happen is maybe you end up homeless or die, but you'll be okay either way.